Hello, everybody. Jonders. So, in this episode, I actually make a joke about how Biden's kind of taking his time picking his VP. But since you have the benefit of already knowing who the VP is, I thought I would add this additional joke up top. So, here we go. Chipotle is teaming up with Tony Hawk to announce the new Tony Hawk burrito because nothing's more extreme than extreme diarrhea. Please enjoy this episode, everybody.
Emily, what have you been up to since you haven't been taking my classes?
um, I've been working a lot. Well, not during the quarantine, but during the quarantine, I did nothing. Just hanging out. Now I'm back at work. I work at a restaurant, so I've been very busy with that. Jonders will tell you because I've been ignoring him because I've been at work all the
I
time.
text her all day long, every day, and very rarely she'll ever text me back. It's only if it's about Supergirl she'll text me back.
I care about that show very deeply.
Is that still on the air?
It's on hiatus right now, but season 6 starts next year. I'm reluctantly invested in it because they draw me in and then they disappoint me, and I'm like, I'm done with Supergirl, and then it just brings me back.
What's your favorite episode of that Supergirl show, Howard?
My favorite episode would be the one where she defeats that really evil queen with superpowers.
Yeah, no, that's a classic. Yeah, me and Emily talk about that one all the time.
It's
All
a
the
great
time.
one. Yes. All
Hello,
right,
it's
I'll
like
take a
Jesus.
note of that.
We're trying to start the show, Howard. Hello,
thought we
it's like
already
Jesus.
started.
Well, welcome to the newest edition of Joke Off. I'm your host, as always, Jonders. I'm also joined by my co-host, as always, Emily Hyatt. Emily Hyatt, say hi.
Hello.
She just never once can say hi. She has to put her own spin on it. All right. Our guest today is an industry bigwig. He once endangered the life of a beetle by getting into a car accident with them. He once didn't take the hint. Monty Python was like, hey, if you're ever in London, check us out. But he was like, I'm just going to go right now. He didn't take the hint. But that perseverance has made a career. I'm talking about Kim Howard Johnson.
Whoa.
Howard, how the heck are you?
Huge ovation. Great. I'm lovely today, Jonders. Thank you for asking. I'll open up the light a little bit. How is that? Can you see my loveliness? I'm going to bask in it a little bit more. There we go.
Less is more, maybe. I don't know. So I I don't know if I'm being so mean. This is the highest profile guest we'll ever have on, and I'm being a jerk.
I'm just going to tear you apart, Howard, bit by bit.
Howard, do you want to say anything nasty about me to kind of get even?
John, no, you're both former students of mine, so this is fun. So I'm like a little cat's paw, just knocked back and forth by you two.
So you bring up that we're former students. I know teaching is a passion of yours, and it's kind of been up in limbo due to the COVID-19 and all that. Any future announcements or any announcements to talk about your teaching plans moving forward?
Yeah. Actually, I've had a pretty good pandemic so far. I've been teaching at the IO for years and years, as you know, working with my dear friend Michael McCarthy. The IO shut down due to the pandemic, and Michael passed away. So I decided I'm going to carry on Michael's work, which is the TV writing program. Formerly at the IO, but the IO is
dead
on the rocks.
Yeah.
Yes. So I started a website. Actually, I picked up on a website that Michael was working on called thecomedylab.net. I'll be saying that several more times in this speech, by the way. So with thecomedylab.net, we're bringing up all of the classes, all the classic writing courses that we taught at the IO, but you get a packet with your classes. You get to do this online. So if you are in New Zealand, as one of my students is, you can still take my classes. So it's really cool because we're expanding the program. I'm coming up with new classes. I'm going to be announcing a topical two-liner class, a workshop actually, for 4-week class. I'm going to be doing some other stuff. I'm also working with some of the former teachers at the IO on improv/performing
Oh, nice.
workshops and classes. Yeah, we're going to be announcing those coming up pretty soon at thecomedylab.net.
Awesome.
Did I mention comedylab.net?
I don't think so.
What was the name of the website? Just
What
one
is
more
it?
time.
Yes, thank you for asking, Emily. Thecomedylab.net.
Ah,
T-H-E.
thecomedylab.net. It rolls right off the tongue.
Yes, it does. Well, there was some other comedy lab somewhere. It was a British TV show or something. I don't know what it was, but they're squatting on that website. So we are thecomedylab.net.
.net, I think it's cooler, right? It's like more indie. It's more hipster.
Yes, yeah, I can do whatever I want with it. That's what I'm doing. Like adults have left the room, so I'm having a great time. We've gotten incredible response because the really nice thing about it is that you're not just confined to these little 14-seat rooms.
Mm-hmm.
Or my workspace is like the whole world as long as they're in front of a computer screen.
So here's my endorsement that no one asked for. I took Howard's talk show packet class. It feels like forever ago now, but I think it was only like 2.5 years ago, or maybe it was 1.5 years ago. It wasn't that long ago. But I would think that anybody who's on the fence about going, if you go, it's a great way to meet some friends. I've met some friends, like Carla, who was on the second episode. She was in my class for that. I've met some people I've met. We've stayed in touch, and it's really fun to have those people in your life. But also, if it gives you the confidence to move forward. Maybe you're somebody who's kind of been the funny one of their friends their entire life, but in this way, you can kind of go around other really funny people and people who have had industry, success like Howard. And when you get these people to laugh, it gives you like, oh, so I can do this. But at the same page, I would like to say anybody who hates me and hates this podcast, don't blame me, blame Howard. That's how this works.
Right here, right on that back. No, Jonders, great student. Emily, also a great student. So nice to see you, Emily. One of the things I get from students a lot is that they're taking this course because they wanted to do this for a long time, and they don't have the discipline. But they know if they sign up for one of the classes at the end of 8 weeks, they're going to have a packet, and they're going to know how to use it to attract an agent.
Yeah.
So automatically, all you have to do is show up and do the work, and you're going to end up with something to show people.
And that's another major thing because some other writing classes will teach you how to write, but they don't teach you the business aspect of being a professional writer. So that's something else that your class offers that not every class does.
Yeah, I don't think very many classes at all offer that. This is the only one that I'm aware of. So now I'm sure I'm going to be deluged with, hey, what about such and such? But no, seriously, you're right. This was not me setting this up. This was Michael McCarthy that set this up years ago.
I was very upset that I never got to meet him because I did start working as a producer on his podcast because through Encore, I knew Encore, so he got me on, but it just never worked. Ships in the night there at the IO, but it was a big loss for our community when he left us, and it's great that you're living on. You're what are the words I'm trying to say? You're extending his legacy here. You're building on the ground that he built, or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, standing on the shoulders of Michael here, a giant in TV writing. He really was. He did it all. Everything.
Can you drop a few of his credits in case people at home don't know who exactly were SNL and all that stuff?
Well, he wrote for SNL, and then he wanted something a little different, and he wrote for Sesame Street. And then he lived in Hollywood for a time. He lived in Chicago for a time. He wrote for a lot of shows. He acted on a lot of shows, usually as a priest, oddly enough. He was on the Gilmore Girls as a priest. He was on the Jim Belushi show as a priest. He was a priest on many, many shows, which you can read his bio on thecomedylab.net.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
So we'll appreciate that little
What a
plug.
strange typecasting. His agent only submitted him. He looks so good in a collar. Let me just tell you, this is your guy.
And he does. That was the thing. He got cast, no problem at all. You need a priest, Michael's your go-to guy. Yeah,
That's
performed a lot of weddings, I think, when he was on the air. But he was a writer. He wrote. I remember I was visiting out in LA for a week or so, and he wrote the episode of the Drew Carey show that I was going to see because my friends were writers on Drew Carey. Michael has a huge, long list of credits. And he wrote for talk shows, he wrote for SNL, and he wrote sitcoms, and he wrote pilots. And then he turned around and he wrote packets. He wrote books, basically 7 and 8 chapter books on how you do this. And that's what we use for the Comedy Lab writing classes.
Yeah, and once again, I cannot speak highly enough about this stuff, but it's time to get to the meat of the podcast, where Emily won Comedy Queen last week. So, maybe we should leave it up to Howard, who tells the first joke. Should we do that? Should we always have the guest tell us who's doing the first joke?
Sure.
All right, Howard, you get to pick. Who do you want to hear a joke from first?
A lot of pressure. I haven't heard from Emily in quite a while. Let me hear a joke from Emily.
I think I took your class like 6 months ago. I don't know. Time's wibbly wobbly. It's relative. Doesn't exist.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Let's get it going. My first joke. The New York Post came out with a survey on sex. It determined which 3 words are the biggest turn on amongst Americans. While romantics thought it would be I love you, it turns out far more people are turned on by the words defund the police.
Good joke, Emily.
Thank you.
Nice. Jonders, the bar is high right from the start.
The bar is high. Which one do I want to do first? Okay, here's one. Joe Biden teased his VP pick multiple times this past week, and Democrats everywhere are waiting with bated breath. People close to Biden say it's down to Elizabeth Warren and Camille Harris, but he still isn't sure who has the best smelling hair.
Oh.
Ooh.
Biden's so gross. I'm going to vote for him, but Biden's so gross.
You think Warren would have the better smelling hair? Is that what you're saying, Emily?
Oh, I mean, if I had to guess, Kamala Harris definitely has the better smelling hair. Because Elizabeth Warren's too busy working. She's got sweaty hair, tons of dry shampoo. Like, she's doing what she got to do.
I was actually trying to make it like Harris, but I couldn't figure it out. Like a pun on Harris.
A pun.
Okay.
Any thoughts? Any thoughts after round 1 here, Howard?
After round 1, how do I do this? Do I say who won the
You
first
can
round?
do whatever you want. You could either give kind of vague points here, or you can give a winner round by round.
Okay. I think Emily probably had a sharper punchline, but she was much more wordy, as she was in my class, as I told her many times.
Every week.
Yes.
Every week. This was I would be like, Emily, you're so funny. You talk too much.
Jonders, I liked your joke. You didn't do. We needed three finalists.
3
Rule of
finalists. Okay.
threes. Rule of threes. So
right.
I'm going to refrain from judging here.
If I can name drop, I actually have been told I have the opposite problem of Emily by Conan writer Jesse Gaskell, who told me I need to add more words to my jokes, and it's a bit of advice she's never given before. She said they're almost too short. So,
that was about the right amount of words, I think, for that joke.
Yeah, this one was more wordier than some of my jokes are, but yeah. All right, Emily, I think it's time to start the new round.
All right, round 2. 2 passengers were removed from a Delta flight after refusing to wear face masks. Delta CEO commented saying, "If you board our plane and insist on not wearing a mask, we will insist you not fly Delta. Meanwhile, I insist Delta CEO learn how to not talk like a crazy person." He talked that way. I was like, who wrote this?
It's very robotic.
Our person got too tired.
Okay. I have one that's also in kind of the travel vein here. We'll go with that one. A new study shows that the Hyatt hotels has been shown to be the best during the coronavirus. In unrelated news, another study shows our own Emily Hyatt has been named the best drunk during the coronavirus. Howard, she was pissed drunk last week. She cannot. What would happen last week? She's on vacation. She's drinking 6 sangria bottles.
Let me defend myself. I told Jonders I was going on vacation to a cabin with my best friend and that we wanted to get away from the city. And I was like, we can still record the podcast. I might be a little tipsy. I warned him. Did I accidentally drink more than I planned and completely forgot about the podcast? Yes, I was on vacation. Anyway, we started the podcast about 40 minutes late. And Jonders, let me tell you, I watched that podcast and I'm mortified by how intoxicated I was. Our podcasts are usually like 20 minutes long, and this one was 40 minutes long. And it's just me rambling about the movie The Black Swan and
Oh, Howard, you know our friend Jess. She was our guest that week, and I was trying to interview Jess, and Emily's like, "PNSs! It was PNSs!" All right, Emily, I guess I'm not going to do the interview of the guest up top. We'll just get to the jokes.
it was
Well, look, it was she clearly said she drank too much because it was an accident. She accidentally drank too much.
Also, what I'm hearing, what a hero to still record the podcast on vacation. What a hero.
Wow.
I am.
No, she knew she was not at her best, not at her sharpest, not at her most flattering. She didn't care.
I think she was at her funniest, though.
I mean, I was crowned comedy queen last week, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I wrote the jokes while I was sober that morning, and then.
Ooh.
I don't think you won because of the jokes. I don't think that's why you won Comedy Queen. I don't think the jokes are what did it. I think it's the overall performance. All right. We're just gonna start bickering. All right. Howard, do you have anything to say of those last two?
No.
Okay, cool. Emily, next joke, please.
Next joke. Tina Fey announced she's coming out with a new show called Girls Five Eva about a 90s girls group staging a comeback, which will star my personal celebrity crush, singer-songwriter Sarah Bareilles. So yeah, someone's been reading my dream journal.
I love Sarah Bareilles.
I love Sarah Bareilles.
I like that Gravity song.
It was a good song.
All right, here's mine. This week, a dinosaur was diagnosed with cancer for the first time ever in dinosaur research. Unfortunately, the doctors only gave him negative 155 billion years to live.
I was so confused the whole time. I was like,
He's already dead.
they're already dead. Thought you were gonna make a Jurassic Park joke.
No. You know how we talked about this in your class. Sometimes I would write jokes that I knew nobody else would find funny, but they're just really for me, and I think that was one of them.
Well, that's not a bad joke at all. It's just you got to put it in a context because, like, okay, how was a dinosaur diagnosed with cancer? How does that happen? I thought they were dead. No, so you got to explain that. You got to justify that. What was the other thing I taught you in class? Numbers. Don't 155, 1 billion, 140. No, just over a billion year or negative 1 billion or something.
Okay.
It would have been much better. So you're doing just the opposite of what you were told you should be doing.
It's been too long. Maybe I need a refresher. All right.
You should go to thecomedylab.net and take another class.
That's a
What
good
was that,
idea.
Emily?
Wow. Wait, what website would I go to? What website?
What was that? What website was that, Emily?
Thecomedylab.net.
I like how that she's unsure.
I doubted myself for a minute.
All right, Emily. Next joke.
Another glass of whatever it was you were just drinking.
I told her she should do all these drunk. She should not be sober on any more of these.
She's got a lot of pep.
Next time. Oh,
So
right.
cute. She thinks there's going to be a next time.
We got Howard. I don't even know how we got Howard for this one show.
I
Obviously,
just
Jonders,
wanted to talk about the comedylab.net.
obviously, Jonders is going to go to the comedylab.net, take a class, and find a new person to collaborate with after he kicks me to the curb.
Howard, who's the most famous person you've ever shaken hands with?
Most famous person I've ever shooken hands with. It'd probably be George Harrison.
Yeah, that's who I was thinking. It's hard to beat a Beatle.
Yeah, because the thing of it, there's been 45 presidents, but there's only been 4 Beatles.
I
Really,
think there's been 5, right? There's been 5 Beatles, right?
depends if you want to count Stuart Sutcliffe or Pete Best.
Pete Best was the real drummer. I'll die thinking that. I don't know.
Okay, you do that, Jonders. You do that.
hurting Ringo's feelings.
I'm sorry, Ringo. Peace and love. All
You're
right.
telling me if you had the choice to choose to shake Ringo's hand or to shake Peter Best's hand, you wouldn't choose Ringo?
Peter Best is best.
Okay.
Ringo Starr is a phony. All right. I don't know why I'm
Ringo
starting
was
to.
my favorite Beatle as a kid because I felt like he was nobody's favorite Beatle. So I was like, Ringo's my favorite.
I actually had a youth minister when I was a kid, right? I was a teenager, and he's telling the story about how he went up to Ringo Starr and asked for an autograph. And Ringo's like, no, I don't want to do that. And then he's like, oh, yeah, because I forgot it's hard being everybody's least favorite Beatle. But like in my head, I'm like, you asked him for an autograph. You don't get to you don't get to high-hat him.
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
And you know what the weird thing is about that? Ringo, and I didn't find this out until for a long time. If you sent in something for him to autograph in the mail, he would do it.
Yeah, like Marge
What?
Bouvier.
That's who I was thinking. Yeah.
Like Marge Bouvier. She finally,
Exactly.
all those years later, he finally wrote back to her.
Yeah.
I like The Simpsons. Emily,
Oh, is it time for a joke?
I think so. I don't know.
It's joke time. Okay. A nursing home in Alabama is combating loneliness amongst its residents by giving them robotic pets. So yes, 2020 can and will get stranger.
Ooh, okay. Okay, here's my next one. Which one do I want to do? Will you only have one more?
Has that been 5 jokes?
This is joke number 4.
This is number.
So which one haven't I done yet? Oh, wait, here's one. Okay. Scientists have found a way to make garlic more flavorful, but it also enhances bad breath. Because if science can create a corona vaccine, they can at least make sure we all stand 6 feet apart from each other.
Oh,
I like that one.
very nice. Very
I
nice.
love garlic.
Smooth it out a little bit. That's the bad thing about teaching this stuff is that every time I hear a joke, I want to say, yeah, but take that word out there or end it with this word instead of that word.
Yeah, where would you end that punchline on that one? Because I was having a hard time. It's like the punchline is in the middle of the punchline. You know what I mean? Like the punch.
Read the punchline once more.
Because if scientists can't create a corona vaccine, they can at least make sure we all stand 6 feet apart from each other.
First of all, I would, from each other, I would definitely lose.
Okay.
We don't need that. Yeah, it's kind of weird because there's no one really strong power word. In that
I guess, yeah, but if it did just end on 6 feet apart and that was the end, that would be better.
I think you probably want to end on 6 feet apart.
Yeah.
I think you probably do. Emily, read your punchline again.
Yeah. So the punchline, so yes, 2020 can and will get stranger.
2020 2020 will get stranger. Or what was I had another word and then we started talking to Jonders and I got it thrown out of my brain. I can't remember. I lost the word. There's one word you should end with, and it wasn't the words. It wasn't one of the words that you chose.
Should it be the year? Oh, so it shouldn't be even a word that was in there. Okay.
No, it's can and will get stranger. Did you say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not can and will, or will get stranger, or
As always,
I don't know.
take those words out, Emily. Take them.
Yeah. So you did learn something.
Hey.
Yes, you learned what you're supposed to be doing. You're not doing it, but
Will I do it?
no, no.
I like that this podcast is much more like a recorded version of Howard's class than our other episodes of our podcast.
It kind of turned into that, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's good though. I think this is a great advertisement for your class.
At thecomedylab.net.
There you go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I can't wait till this podcast is over so I can go to thecomedylab.net.
Just send the check in the mail, Howard.
I was gonna wear a T-shirt that had thecomedylab.net across the front, and
And
then
also, if you want to talk about football, you can go to forwardpassthinking.com. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is that who you were working for in your?
it's a company. It's a company that I started.
Ah, okay. You
Um,
wanna plug any company that you're working for now? Or?
what's the restaurant you work at that so people can come up to you? Hey, what are those people listening? The people that you waited on, or do they listen? Do they ever like text you or something?
I for backstory, Howard, I'm a very charismatic server at
Obviously.
the restaurant The Vig in Old Town. And I had a table get very drunk on Frosé, and they thought I was just the most hilarious, lovely person. They're like, "You should be performing at the Second City down the street." And I was like, "I do sometimes." And they're like, "What?" And they thought I was just so funny. They're like, "You should just like go to a park, just like start performing in a park." And I was like, "I don't know about that." And they're like, "Here's our business card. Email us what you do and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, sure, I'll do that maybe." Anyway, her card is just sat in my purse, and I haven't touched
I thought
it.
you told them about this podcast. You told me you're out there guerrilla marketing.
I did tell them about this podcast. I promise I'll email her. Okay.
This is how she promotes the show, Jonders. Sticks the
Very
card in her purse.
I got a card in my purse. My coworkers said they might tune in at some point. So, like, hey, I'm drumming it up.
Emily Hyatt, the person who has not yet reviewed and rated her own podcast 5 stars. And listeners, if you're out there, please do not be like Emily. Please review and rate our podcast 5 stars.
What's the
Emily,
name
tell
of
a
the
joke.
podcast, Jonders?
What's that?
What's the name of the podcast?
Oh, Joke Off. Joke
Joke
Off.
Off.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On YouTube and wherever you get podcasts from. Joke Off.
Oh, yeah, I like that. You can keep using it.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank you,
for
Howard.
your blessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have any dirt on Andy Richter from back in the day?
Andy was always a nice guy.
No, I need some dirt so I can get on the Conan staff. You know, some photos.
To blackmail your way to the Conan staff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because that's what they love. No, I've known Andy. Andy helped me with my Del Close book. He gave me a nice quote for it. Yeah.
No, yeah, he seems like a
Hate to
lovely
say
man.
I hate to tell you, Andy's just a nice guy.
Yeah, he seems like a very nice person.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you know he's a member of the Rancho Gordo Bean Club?
I did not. That's great information. Not dirt, but it's dirt related.
What is that? What is that?
Well, now I know you're kidding, Emily. I know everybody knows what the Rancho Gordo Bean Club is. No, it's a club where my wife belongs to it, and they send you a shipment of a bunch of different kinds of beans every month. It's very exclusive. There's 12,000 people on the wait list to get into this club. If you watch Andy at home, you can see in the background, when when the kitchen is behind him, you see a big calendar from the Rancho Gordo Bean Club.
Now there's an advertisement.
Yes.
Get him a comedylab.net poster.
Yeah. People have completely forgotten about the comedylab.net, and they're like, what is this Bean Club? Tell us
So
more.
exclusive. There's 15,000 people on the wait list for
Wow.
the comedylab.net.
Is there that many people on the wait list?
For the Bean Club?
No, for the comedylab.net.
I don't know. I haven't checked lately.
All right. Emily,
Mystery.
last joke.
Last joke. Oh, this one. Okay. An Illinois school district has created a new dress code for online learning, forbidding students from wearing pajamas during their Zoom classes. And I say, good. Kids need to learn how to be goddamn professionals. Oh my, Mom, get out of my room. No one, get out of here. I'm trying to be a goddamn professional.
For the audio listener, she's now drinking a Bud Light.
Oh, yes.
Another unpaid advertisement. All right.
Gee, that was unexpected.
It was a plot twist.
I
But
learned from Rob Petrie. That's how
on
you.
a podcast.
All right. In my final joke, Michelle Obama came out this week and said she is dealing with low-grade depression in quarantine. But at this point, saying you have low-grade depression kind of seems like a brag. This is kind of like my thing where every year the seasonal affective disorder thing, people are always like, oh, it's the days are dark. It's like, I'm clinically depressed. This is me 24/7. And you're coming down to so that's why I thrive in the winter. Everybody comes down to my level. And then I'm able to thrive because I've been there all year. I'm like Bane, you know? Yeah, you were serious. I was born into the darkness. You're just merely adopted, baby.
Thank you for that 2-liner, Jonders.
It was like a 2-paragraph. It was like
Jonders is just
conversation or just
a very nice monologue. That's a monologue, kids. You'll learn the difference if you're in the comedylab.net. Yeah. That was actually a good joke if you would have ended it right. It seems like it was a brag or whatever you said.
Yeah, which at this point seems like a brag, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great joke.
Oh, great. Cool.
And then you had to spoil it with all of that other extra.
You thought the other stuff was bad?
No, I liked the other stuff. I actually
cool.
did. Yeah, but that's a monologue. That's
All
how
right.
you do it.
Oh,
Okay.
what are you going to do?
Jonders, you made this podcast and you've forgotten the rules.
I make up the rules. I don't forget the rules. I make up the rules as I go. And yet I still don't win rarely ever. All right, Howard. It is time for your final judgment for me and Emily to have bragging rights throughout the week. Who will be the comedy queen?
The comedy queen. If Emily chugs the rest of that Bud Light.
No! Oh, she's doing it. She's going. Yeah. You didn't chug it all. No.
Chug.
What? This is your queen?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah,
this isn't your queen. Come on.
You guys, for anyone who doesn't know, I went to the University of Missouri, which is a state school. So if you think I cannot or will not chug this beer, I totally will.
You already can't. That's not how you chug a beer. The beer's already gone.
Because I'm older now. It's the bubbles. I have to take it sip by sip.
Our audio listeners might not know, Emily is 74 years old.
And doesn't it look phenomenal for 74?
I hope I look that good when I'm 74. Oh, it's empty.
I get a burp every time I take. There's one more sip.
Okay. Oh, she's being honest.
So in 2 years, when you're teaching classes, maybe in person at that point, or maybe still over the Zoom at comedylab.net, you'll be able to say, oh, well, I remember once famous comedy writer Jonders and famous comedy writer Emily Hyatt had me on their podcast. You can tell that to your students. How about that?
That's going to be a great story.
Forget the Beatles stuff.
And Emily got drunk.
Yeah, that's when the problem started.
So did Emily just win? I'm incredulous that Emily just won. You know what?
I kind of think I kind of have to give it to her. I didn't think she was actually going to down that beer.
How can I debase myself to become the comedy queen?
Where's your beer? Can
you
chug a beer better than I just chugged mine?
I have this cat mist spray. If I chug this cat mist spray.
What is cat mist spray?
I don't know. Peter likes it, though. I spray it on myself, and then she kind of goes like this.
I don't even know what to think of that.
All right.
Oh,
fine. Emily wins. This is a farce. This entire show is a farce. Howard, if somebody was like going to go to a website and sign up for Emily, please stop dancing. You're embarrassing yourself. Okay, Howard, if somebody was going to go to a website and sign up for some kind of comedy writing class, what kind of website would you encourage they go to?
Well, if there were something like the comedylab.net, maybe, I'm just saying, maybe there might be something on there. And you might, whoever is listening or watching this, if they are aspiring to the heights of Jonders or Emily, and not just with chugging the beers.
I'll teach them that later.
Oh, right. Oh,
I'm going to cut in here. You see this Gatorade bottle? I've lost 8 pounds since our last episode of Joke Off. I've been drinking 160 ounces of water a day, and I've been peeing like a madman.
Jesus. No.
8 pounds since last week.
I think
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Oh my
Oh my God.
I've been sick of, on these Zoom calls, I have this double chin, so I'm trying to lose just enough weight to not have the double chin. Yeah.
Oh, this is the difference between men and women. A man goes on a date, he's like, I started drinking water, and I lost 8 pounds. Fuck you.
I was drinking 8 Mountain Dews a day, though, so I've stopped drinking the 8 Mountain Dews, and now I'm drinking water, so it's a big difference, I think.
And Emily drank 8 bottles of sangria. So.
All right, Howard. Anything else other than the comedylab.net that you want to get out there?
Did I mention the comedylab.net?
I don't think so. What's that about?
All right. TV writing classes. This is your big chance. If you like what Emily and Jonders are doing, this is where you learn to do it. Maybe it isn't, but I'm taking credit for it.
No, yeah, but it definitely instills the confidence in you to start your own podcast with a name that has a kind of a pun off a jerk off. So you can do that with your life. Also, this man wrote a book that Homer Simpson read.
That's true. Co-wrote.
Ridiculous. All right.
Co-wrote a book.
Yes, co-wrote a book.
Truth and
I would take all the credit, though, but that's just me.
Yes, with Del Close and Sharna Halpern. Also written many books on Monty Python. Wrote a biography of Del Close. Just Google me.
You're just bragging at this point.
We've
transcended plugs, and we've just gone into bragging. All right, Howard.
Well, what can I tell you?
I bet Howard can also chug a beer. So, comedylab.net.
All right, at Jonders FPT on Twitter and Instagram, at EM_Hyatt on Twitter and Instagram, at TV Mom Pro on TikTok and Twitter. And Howard, are you on social media?
Facebook at Howard.
You don't want to give out your personal Facebook. Is your personal Facebook?
Yeah, but I never look at it, so don't check that out. I'm on Twitter at khowardjohnson.com.
All right.
We've got several Comedy Lab sites that are springing up. I don't remember what.
Oh, you should get those on social media. Did you do that yet?
It's the comedy. It's my people are doing that.
Okay.
Yeah. I have people now.
Hey.
Friends of the Beetle, you get people. That seems to make sense.
Right.
Yeah. All right.
You got that right. Yeah.
All right. Until next week, I've been Jonders. Our guest has been Howard. Emily has been named Comedy Queen or something. I don't know. And make sure you rate us 5 stars and subscribe, everybody. Okay. Until next week. Bye.
Bye.